Mic check 1, 2, 3 here inside Greater Nevada Field in downtown Reno. Thank you, Julian. Oh, you're up.
Thank you.
Mic check.
Mic check. Here we go. Some soccer in their final home game here at Greater Nevada Field of the regular season. Reno 1868 coming off a
Sun is out on a gorgeous fall evening in downtown Reno. Tonight, from Greater Nevada Field, it's the final home match of the season as Reno 1868 welcomes in the red-hot El Paso Locomotive. And hi, everybody. Welcome inside our broadcast booth alongside Julian Delgadio. I'm Alex Margulies. Big match on the line for both of these teams tonight as we wind down towards the postseason, and both of these clubs have some playoff positioning to worry about here tonight.
Yeah, you look at what Reno 1868 has been able to do so far this season. They're sitting at third place overall in the USL Western Conference. They're chasing Fresno by 3 points, and Fresno actually coming off a loss to the El Paso Locomotives, who's riding a 3-game winning streak coming in to Greater Nevada Field tonight. They are a dangerous team late in the season, and they look pretty good.
All right, let's take a look at the key players of the match. First for Reno, Mazaev Ski. This guy has been one of the top strikers in the league over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, this was a kid who was injured early on this season, but he's had 8 goals through the last 5 matches. He's been beyond impressive in the front for this Reno soccer club, and he gets going, and this Reno team is pretty hard to beat.
On the other side of the pitch, another striker that you'll have to look out for tonight, Jerome Kiesewetter for El Paso. Reno's going to have to worry about him.
Yeah, this kid's got ice in his veins. El Paso's won 3 of their last matches, 2 of which have come beyond the 90th minute. Last match against Fresno, it would be him who scored the game-winning goal. So, that's definitely someone for Reno that they want to slow down early.
All right, should be a great one here tonight in downtown Reno. It's also Oktoberfest here at Greater Nevada Field. Big one coming up next as Reno 1868 takes on the El Paso Locomotive. This is the USL Championship right now on Nevada Sports Net. Packed house on a picture-perfect fall evening as Reno wraps up their home slates. Only 3 matches to go here in this regular season, and a big one here tonight, taking on a potential team they could see in the postseason in the El Paso Locomotive. They come in 12-9-9, currently in 8th place. Reno coming in 3rd. Alongside Julian Delgadio, Alex Margulies, as we take a look at the starting 11. First up, we'll look at El Paso, and a little surprised not to see the man we had highlighted during the open, Jerome Kiesewetter, in the starting 11. Instead, it's Salgado and Gomez at the top. A lot of experience up and down this roster, Julian, including Sebastian Velasquez, a guy that played with Real Salt Lake, some time with the Monarchs as well at the MLS level. And interesting look at Salgado, a guy from El Paso that has made a real impact on his hometown club.
Yeah, you have to be a little surprised, though, for them benching Kiesewetter. Do you have to think that, maybe the elevation is going to play a factor in this one? And, he had that game winner last Wednesday against Fresno, and he seems to be a big piece of the puzzle for this El Paso team. But they're going with this lineup, and they seem pretty confident moving forward. It's their inaugural season, and, you have to expect some big things from this program down the stretch.
All right, let's look at Reno as well as we kick things off.
Yeah, Reno coming out.
El Paso quickly able to penetrate deep into Reno territory and an early opportunity. And Reno avoids damage in the opening seconds.
And Corey Hortzog just trying to clear it out there, kind of get their bearings straight. I mean, we're less than a minute into this game and already at 1 shot on goal for El Paso. You tell that they're not losing any steam over that last game against Fresno.
All right, let's show you the Reno starting 11 now. Herzog and Mazaev Ski up top. Kevin Partita, the Sparks native, back in the midfield. Brent Richards makes his 120th career USL start with JT Marcinkowski in goal.
And this is an experienced lineup. They had a little bit of a sluggish skid last month, but they've definitely locked it down. They are coming off a loss, but Reno wants that second spot in the USL Western Conference, and they need to win tonight to get that.
Reno will send it all the way back to Marcinkowski, who is making his 40th career start in USL action, his 2nd season. The 22-year-old from the San Francisco Bay Area last year was Reno's newcomer of the year, and somebody that has been a part of the San Jose system for a very long time, signed as a homegrown back in 2011.
Gotta like the pace that Reno's trying to establish early on in this match. Little takeaway, though.
See what El Paso can do here. Salgado on the run. Reno able to quickly get back on defense. 5 blue shirts close in as Salgado and Gomez. Salgado blasts one from outside the box, and Marcinkowski is there to knock it down.
Yeah, Salgado, actually born in El Paso, Texas. He left at the age of 15, and he has found himself back in El Paso playing for this Locomotive team.
Yeah, pretty cool to see that. Always love, I think, when you see these USL teams and when new franchises come about. El Paso now in their 2nd season of play, and to get a guy like Salgado is very exciting.
Yeah, he can play both midfield and forward. It seems like he's gearing more towards midfield. They're a very midfield-heavy team, but I think that they like to kind of counterbalance whatever the attacking force that Reno likes to establish early on in a game.
Trying to break through Reno's midfield here. Not a lot of teams are able to get deep and try and get some shots on goal early here in Reno. Usually that's kind of Reno's MO, is to come out swinging and to really press on the offensive end. You're surprised to see El Paso being able to do that this early. You don't see that very often.
You don't see it very often. You also like to see Reno, I think what we've noticed over the course of the last couple of months, they like to kind of score quickly, and if they don't get that offense going early on, they could be in trouble in this.
El Paso coming out with a lot of energy. This is a team that does not appear like they're coming here just to sit back and try and play for a draw. They're being very aggressive here in the opening minutes. And this is a very, like I mentioned, very important match for both teams. El Paso right now is above that cut line to get into the postseason, but nothing is guaranteed for them right now. And the way you look at it, this is an El Paso team that could finish maybe upwards of 4th place and maybe get themselves a home playoff match if they can continue the winning streak that they've got. They've got some teams to get past, but the way things are bunched up right now in the standings, very possible that they could pull that off.
You got to love that about the USL too. You know, less than about 3 matches to go for a lot of these soccer clubs, and you know, the middle down on the USL Western Conference is a lot of play going on, and you know, a lot of things can happen in this last couple of matches.
From the corner, Ross plays it in, couple chances, and that one goes squirrely. Gomez winded up on that one. And to go back to JT Marcinkowski.
Yeah, Josh Gomez just hit a little too high on that one. He's got 4 goals this season, all in the box, 13 appearances for this club, and he's tied for 2nd on the team with goals so far this season.
Gomez, another guy to look out for at the top. See the aggressiveness again from El Paso, and they're able to take it away deep in Reno's territory.
And all Brent Richards could do is just try to defend.
Here comes Bosetti into the box. Centers it. And Reno able to get a clearance. Lindo Mafeka gets rid of it, but here comes El Paso once again as they organize on the offensive end.
It's been very impressive so far to see these guys just come out right and try to kind of hit Reno in the mouth and set the tone early on, especially for a team that doesn't normally attack this heavy early on.
You look at the way they've played this season, they're not a team that scores a lot of goals. We're talking about a club that on this season has been one of the worst offensive teams, in fact, as they have only been able to score a total of 37 goals on this season. That's tied for 7th worst. Where this team is excellent, though, is on the defensive side. We're talking about 12 clean sheets for El Paso. That's 4th best in the USL, so they have really had great defensive success. But again, offensively coming after Marcinkowski. He rejects that shot by Salgado.
Yeah, Salgado just wants that shot back again. It was a beautiful strike inside the box. And once again, this El Paso team just early on showing their aggressiveness and that they can play ball with anybody in the USL.
Certainly, if they can come here to Reno and pick up 3 points, it would be a big statement for them and their intentions at the end of this season, trying to make a run. That one cleared away. Another dangerous ball as Gomez was trying to get in front of Marcinkowski, and it was Benjamin Galindo who was able to get rid of it.
I want to go back to Salgado, you know, just a local kid from El Paso, Texas, 4th on the team in goals scored, 4th on the team as well in chances created. He's more of a distributor, but to see him kind of get those early shots on goal, pretty impressive.
You can see he's a big, powerful guy, too. Once again, instead of going into the box in the corner, they'll play it back. Now try and swing it around. Play it back into the box now. Danger here, and once again, Marcinkowski gets on top of it. That time it was headed by Andrew Fox.
Marcinkowski's so impressive, too. 22 years old, 8 career clean sheets. He's been such a rock for this Reno soccer club, and it's been kind of fun seeing him develop over the last couple of years.
Yeah, Reno's had great goalkeeping during their 3 years.
Big takeaway right there.
Here's Salgado again. Look at the size difference between Salgado and some of the Reno defenders that are trying to mark him. He's a big, powerful forward that has really set the pace of this match here early on.
Salgado also spent some time in Southern Nevada with the Las Vegas Lights on loan at the end of last season. Back on El Paso.
Another shot on goal. Marcinkowski is there. So it has been a heavy El Paso attack here in the opening 7 minutes. Reno has been able to withstand it so far, and we'll see now if Reno can do much offensively. Having not seen El Paso a ton, awfully impressed with what they've been able to do here early. Chance now from Mazaev Ski.
And that's what Reno wants to do. Get the ball deep into Mazaev Ski, maybe with a header, a strike. I mean, he's been so dangerous over the last month. 8 goals in the last 5 matches, and it's very impressive for a kid who was injured in the early part of this season.
Here's a run from Haji. He was trying to play it in for Corey Herzog, and well defended that time by El Paso.
I want to go back to Danny Mazovsky. He's an alum from UNLV coming up here to Northern Nevada, and you know, it's been impressive. Ian Russell said this kid's as good as any other forward in the game in the USL right now, and his numbers are not lying at all from how well he's done so far.
Well, it's pretty impressive. I mean, you're talking about in the Open, 8 goals in the last 5 matches. Prior to that, he had only secured 3 goals over his first 16 appearances of the season. So he has really been a force to be reckoned with. And you mentioned it in the air as well, and that has been how they've been able to find Mazaev Ski for the most part, has been playing on this right side with Brent Richards. And Richards trying to get into the box for Mazaev Ski. We'll see how El Paso tries to defend that here tonight.
Yeah, Richards, one of the more veteran players on this 1868 squad. You can see that they're starting to push forward a little bit more, finally find a little more offense than playing back, which is what we're used to seeing.
Yeah, Reno getting a little more connectivity as they get one in front of goal now to Logan Ketterer, who has had a monster season in goal for El Paso. He has been one of the top keepers in the circuit, recording 11 of those 12 clean sheets that we had talked about before. There's a whistle against El Paso, and that's going to bring a yellow card out. And hard contact there against Kevin Partita as he is rolling around on the grass. Partita able to get back up to his feet, but they will put Josue Gomez into the book after that one.
What a cool story for Kevin Partita, though. Local kid from Sparks, Nevada, gets signed by the San Jose Quakes, had a bobblehead made after him earlier this year, and they expect big things from him, not only in this club, but in the San Jose Quakes organization.
Said it was Gomez who got the yellow card. It was actually Yuma, one of the midfielders for El Paso. It just goes by Yuma. He's a Spaniard. A lot of experience into the midfield for El Paso after playing professionally in his home country of Spain.
Yeah, Yuma's a captain on this team. He's played 20 games, 19 starts, great distributor.
Eric Calvillo hits it right into the wall. Galindo keeps it for Reno. Here's Richards. And El Paso able to clear as Reno gets one of their first chances to try and get on the board here early on.
First sign of life for Reno in this match. 10 minutes in, finally getting that shot in there. It's got to help confidence, right?
You can see that continued aggressiveness from El Paso. Gomez chases that one all the way back to Marcinkowski. He was trying to send one over the top to Herzog. See what Reno can do here. Lindo almost has a goal. Lindo Mafeka pulled it just wide of the nets.
I tell you what, I love watching Lindo Mafeka play soccer. Kid from Durban, South Africa, 14 goals on this season, his 64th career appearance with this soccer club, and he gets going. It's a pretty dangerous team.
Lindo's been one of those mainstays here in Reno. 66 career appearances, including tonight. Kind of been one of those core guys. Him, Richards, Kasipli, who's on the bench tonight, who have been here from the very beginning with head coach Ian Russell.
It's been great to watch these kids develop too, and see their pace of play, and integrating new forwards every year, and just the same success for Ian Russell's club.
El Paso will chase this one down. Janjigian trying to close. They'll get it past Janjigian. More fight here. Salgado trying to find some room, and Reno is able to take it away. And boy, Omar Salgado, that was a dangerous spot to give him some space, and Reno did well to get it away. What can they do here on the counter? Herzog. Corey Herzog blasts it right at Ketterer, who comes up with a save.
And for another goal for Corey Herzog. He's had quite a year for this Reno soccer team, and maybe just a little bit more on that would have been in.
I'll tell you what, this has been a fun match here early.
Yeah, a lot of shots created.
A lot of energy out here tonight.
Wonder if playoff implications really are playing a huge factor.
It feels like a playoff match, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's got that kind of energy.
Would you be surprised to see both of these teams in a couple of weeks facing off here?
It very well could shape up that way. It certainly is definitely, it's kind of crazy as you look at the standings. It's hard to figure out how it's going to all pan out. It's possible. Herzog again blasting one, and Ketterer's there for this stop.
Herzog, though, he's a type of guy who takes a lot of shots. He's going to miss a bunch, but he's also going to make a lot of them, just creating chances there. Reno showing some fight and finally getting some shots on goal, and that's what they really wanted to establish early on, and that's, I think, what we're used to seeing from them.
14th minute. We saw El Paso get several chances early in the match. Reno able to defend.
There they go again.
Reno's had a couple chances, and Ketterer's been there for the stops.
That's big. The back four just holding that line. Clearing it out.
Well, I think it's a back four for Reno that is eager to prove something tonight. They were frustrated in that second half against Real Monarchs last week, conceding a couple of goals as they were able to come in here and steal a 2-1 win from Reno.
I think that's been Reno's kryptonite a lot this season. Here they are back on attack.
Here's Duke Lacroix, finds Lindo Mafeka, winds up. They wanted a handball there. Does not get the whistle, though, from head referee Malik Badawi, and that was a big collision between Salgado and Galindo, and now Salgado is going down to the grass after he took a shot into the stomach or the ribs. It's interesting. He actually got up and was standing and then went right back down to the ground. It may have taken a few seconds for the pain to set in, but you can tell that that was a pretty hard shot as him and Galindo had a strong collision.
He's such a big guy, too, you know, going that quickly and getting taken out by Galindo like that. But I think he should be fine, shaking it off a little bit. Corey Herzog does not appear happy about that call, though.
Well, you might still be talking about the possible handball that Reno thought they had gotten, which would have been a big spot for that. They will put Galindo into the book, the 19-year-old, tonight making his 13th appearance with 1868. Came over on loan from Chivas in Mexico, where he made 2 appearances last year. Young up-and-coming center back. But I think San Jose is eager to get some time here in Reno, and he has certainly earned some big minutes here in his first season.
Comes from some great pedigree, too. Son of legend Benjamin Galindo.
Shot on goal, and Marcin Kowski gets his fingertips to swat that one away.
Another chance created, though, for El Paso. I mean, they are not going gently by any stretch, and they are a confident soccer team, especially this late in the season. You know, we talk a lot about that back four wanting to prove something for the soccer team and what happened to them last match, giving up that late goal. Reno suffered from a couple losses from late goals, and on the other end of the coin, you look at what El Paso's done over the last 3 matches, scoring 2 of their 3 late game goal winners past the 90th minute. So, you know, El Paso's kryptonite, or I should say Reno's kryptonite, is what El Paso's been doing well over the last 3 matches.
Yeah, it could be interesting towards the end of this match, if it is close, to see how those storylines kind of hold up. But you're right, El Paso has kind of had some late match magic lately, and winners of 4 of their last 5. One of the hottest teams in the circuit right now.
I think if you're Ian Russell, too, you're just trying to find some consistency, just holding leads late in games, and, you know, heading into the playoffs, that's very key if this Reno squad wants to make a run.
Duke Lacroix trying to get involved. Swing it around. Some space for Brent Richards. Into Haji.
Look at Richards.
Haji plays it back out to Richards. Centers it. Mazaev was winding up, but it gets ricocheted away. Back out to Duke.
Just needed a little bit more space for Mazaev on that one, and he could have buried it.
Calvillo, seeing some open space there, decides to take a shot, but he gets too much on it, goes wide, and it'll be a goal kick now coming up for Logan Ketterer.
Wonder what the Douglas Alley Renegades are saying out there to the goalkeeper after that.
I imagine on our Oktoberfest, they've had a little bit of a liquid courage all day today, probably a little more vocal than usual. Boy, there is a buzz in the ballpark tonight, though. This is one of the greatest crowds we have seen this season. Drums are banging loudly from all over the place. Los Unicos, headed by Herzog and just wide as Reno is that close to taking the lead.
It's his 3rd shot in this match. He's really starting to heat up a little bit. You know that if he keeps putting shots close to goal, one's going to possibly go in for Corey Herzog.
Herzog, 16 goals on the year. One of the top strikers in the USL, one of the top strikers in the history of this league. 51 career goals. If you include the goals that he has scored in the USL postseason, he is the all-time leading scorer in USL history.
Yeah, I was talking to Corey about just signing for this soccer team and what Ian Russell pitched to him coming to Reno and telling him, you know, hey, we score a lot of goals on this soccer club, and we would love to have you as that piece, especially with a guy like Brian Brown moving on past the team and Dane Kelly moving on. Corey's been just a staple for this forward and for the scoring on this team.
Pretty incredible how Ian Russell has been able to bring in these talented guys and see a lot of success. Talk about those guys that have had a ton of success with Dane Kelly and Brian Brown. Now it's Herzog and Mazaev Ski's turn. Here's Danny, sends it out wide to Richards. A little miscommunication there, and Reno will give it back as Nick Ross gets it into Ketterer.
It's been so fun, though, watching Brent Richards and Danny Mazaev Ski just find each other on the pitch just late in games, and they're really developing quite a chemistry now that Mazaev Ski's been back from injury.
Seen some amazing things on the offensive end by this team in 3 seasons. But one of the biggest moments was a couple weeks ago, Danny Mazaev Ski with 4 goals in Reno's 5-0 win over Tacoma. He had 4 goals, and 3 of them were assisted by Brent Richards.
And 3 of those goals, first half. Very
insane.
Impressive. I mean, I've never seen a performance like that. Arguably the best performance that we've seen in a Reno 1868 jersey.
Hard to believe when you've had the likes of Dane Kelly and Brian Brown, but certainly that one is going to be etched in 1868 history for a very long time, and may not see that one come down for quite some time.
Yeah, 4 goals is, as we say in my land, sucio.
I have no idea what that means.
Filthy.
Filthy, huh?
Very filthy. Muy sucio.
Is it Italian?
No, Spanish.
Never know with you, man. Half Italian, half Mexican. Wasn't sure.
I should learn some more Italian. You know, that would really diversify my. What would that make? Trilingual?
Yeah. 22nd minute. Alongside Julian Delgadio, who's filling in today for Brian Slusser, I'm Alex Margulies. Hard to believe. Final regular season match of the season. Just 2 more to go for Reno on the road as they'll take on Las Vegas and Tulsa. And then perhaps, and more likely than not, hosting a playoff game the week after that in the first round as one of the top 4 teams. Reno may know by the end of the night if they are able to clinch. A lot of scenarios, too many scenarios to really even try and go into them all. But if Reno picks up 3 points here tonight, it would be very difficult for them not to host in that first round.
That's been quite a year for this soccer club. They've now in their 3rd year, and they've gone to the playoffs every single year so far. I know Coach Russell's trying to build off of that 1 playoff win last year, and they have the talent that can certainly do that. They just need to kind of buckle down. They've been in contention for 2nd place in the USL Western Conference. They're staring up at Fresno for that spot right now, and you know, a win against this El Paso team that's coming off a win against Fresno would be huge.
Here's Duke Lacroix. And they'll blow that one dead. Lacroix trying to disrupt that El Paso defense. He can be a handful sometimes.
Yeah, he's another fun player to watch. He's also a big Lacroix guy. We had him on our flagship show, NSN Daily, a couple of weeks ago. Brought out some Lacroix. Talked to him about just the story of, you know, if he has any relation at all to that, what would that be?
The sparkling soda?
Sparkling soda, not a spritzer.
And actually, they the company based in Wisconsin says it is LaCroix, but, I mean, come on. Got to call it LaCroix.
You got to call it LaCroix. CROIX. It sounds fancier, too.
It does. A little bougier.
Probably why it's so expensive now.
I drink like 3 of those a day.
A big LaCroix guy, huh?
Oh, yeah. very refreshing. El Paso hasn't been on the attack in quite some time after that flurry early. Reno organizing here on defense. Not much El Paso could do there, as Siad Haji will race it back the other way.
Yeah, they're really forcing it back there. It seems like they're playing a little bit tighter now. They were very loose to open up this match, and it seems like Reno's kind of figured them out a little bit. Maybe, I know it's still only 25 minutes in, but elevation potentially coming into play. Maybe the climate. I know that El Paso's warmer this time of year, but yeah, just not a good showing over that last offensive attack for El Paso.
They've got a big bullet in the gun still sitting on the bench in Jerome Ketterer.
Yeah, leads the team in goals, all inside the box. He's got 12 this year, 8 with his right foot, and he's played and started in 21 games, so it's pretty surprising to see that they would just put him on the bench like that. But, you know, maybe he could be that spark plug in the second half that could propel this El Paso team over Reno.
Kiesewetter, excuse me, I had said Ketterer. Kiesewetter,
I forgive you.
should see him in the second half. But so far with Salgado and Gomez at the top, El Paso certainly has had plenty of chances. And they have looked good on both sides here in this first half.
I want to go back to Kiesewetter. Born in Berlin, Germany. He's actually an active member of the U.S. men's national team. He's been that since 2011. He was on the U18 to 23 to the senior squad. And he's really trying to make a name for himself here in the States. He's done pretty well so far for the Locomotives.
All the way down to Mazaev Ski. A lot of white shirts to try and get past. He'll spin around. Try and get some help here.
Trying to open some lanes a little bit.
See how tightly packed El Paso is in the middle of the field.
Reno slowing things down again, pushing forward.
El Paso playing a flat 4-4-2. Reno also in their 4-4-2.
I was reading before the match, El Paso's head coach Mark Lowry believes that there are two things that create the greatest chance of winning. One is a higher percentage of possession and just running more than the opposition. We'll see how much running they'll do by the 90th minute, but it seems like their possession numbers are really dropping as this match has gone on.
Here comes Kevin Partita. He launches that one up into the outfield grass.
That'd be good for a field goal.
So far, things not going great for El Paso in that possession category. Reno has had the advantage 58-42 thus far.
And that's got to jump a lot from how this started 10 minutes ago. So Reno, you know, finding themselves on the pitch right now. That was an interesting wrap.
Off of Richards and a throw-in now for El Paso. Get it into Sebastian Velasquez.
Oh, this could be trouble.
Salgado has Vasquez. Vasquez rejected away. Lacroix got his body in front of it. Cleared that time by Richards.
Plays into the narrative. The back four need to step up in big moments like that. That ball got through, but they still found a way to clear it out, and that's a big defensive shift there for Reno.
Another ball is centered. Nobody there. Finds James Kiffey. Kiffey lobs it in, headed and wide. But another dangerous attack there from El Paso, started by James Kiffey, who last year spent 7 games with Reno 1868, so a player Reno certainly is very familiar with, not only having played here, but also during his time with Sacramento, where he was a mainstay on that club for 4 seasons.
And he's got 4 assists so far this season. Looking for that 5th. It just went a little too wide.
So far, both teams 7 shots. 4 of El Paso's 7 shots have been on target.
Oh, look at that. He's got some space.
Duke Lacroix gets the corner. Lacroix trying to go top shelf. Not a bad try there.
You could tell Herzog was calling for the ball, too. A lot of offense from both sides.
It's been a very offensive match. To me, optically, it's been a very fun match to watch.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times you come out and certain teams want to come in here and just kind of sit back, and oftentimes it's Reno that's kind of the aggressor for most of the game, and teams will kind of be able to kind of play off the counter of that. But these have been 2 teams that have been attack-minded, and it has been an exciting 30 minutes thus far.
I was expecting to see El Paso play a lot more counter, like you were saying, just force Reno to make a couple of mistakes and, find an opportunity where they could send the ball down the pitch. But like you said, they're just launching it left and right, and their goals, or not goals, but shots coming left and right over here.
Here's Eric Calvillo. 6th start of the year for Eric Calvillo, coming down from the San Jose Earthquakes, where he has appeared and started a couple of games for them this year.
Seems like he's coming to replace Zach Carroll, former captain of this team. Just kind of gave that one away, though.
Guillermo Diaz. Reno the takeaway into Siad Haji.
A little too much strength on that one, but the idea was there. You saw Brent Richards on the right was breaking. They could have held it a little bit longer, maybe, pushed some guys up and had a better chance at goal for that. But here we are, neck and neck, 0-0.
Here's James Kiffey coming up again from his fullback spot. El Paso organizing. Velasquez plays it wide. Salgado into the box. Swatted away by Marcinkowski as a point-blank opportunity there, that time for Alexi Bosetti.
Yeah, that's probably the best look that they've had all game long. Great stop by JT Marcinkowski. Bosetti kind of shocked.
Bosetti, one of the most experienced players on the pitch. Long-time first-team action with Nice in Ligue 1 in France. Was there for 7 seasons.
Yeah, 57 appearances, 10 goals in that league. Played for the OKC Energy as well. 19 appearances, 1 goal. He's found himself on El Paso.
Richards clears.
But Bosetti, 23 games played, 15 starts this year, 2 goals. He came in as a sub last game, so interesting to see him get the start tonight.
Taken away from Calvillo. Reno trying to race back. Salgado, had Bosetti, but he didn't see him.
Yeah, they hesitated on that.
Into Kiffy. Back out to Lindo Mafeka, who finds Eric Calvillo.
It's surprising, too. El Paso's been so good on the counterattack this season. Feels like a missed opportunity.
Here's Danny Mazaev Ski. Finds Siad Haji. Haji centers it. Oh! Just wide of the net. Another close one there for Reno. And you see the frustration from Danny Mazaev Ski.
I'd say that was the best shot of the day, though. In the box. Just need a little bit more separation, but they earned that corner kick.
First one of the night, as Lindo Mafeka will handle that for Reno tonight.
He was looking for Danny. Would you say he was the most dangerous header on the team?
I think you'd have to say at this point, the way that he's been able to finish so many of those goals this year.
Haven't seen too many goals off a corner, though, for Reno 1868 at home this season, though.
I'd really say, honestly, over the 3 years, not a ton.
Not a ton. They practice it, but more success off rebounds and, shots inside the box.
4 defenders to get past for Calvillo. Trying to set something up for Duke.
And El Paso really pushed back right now.
Partita trying to find Danny, who is looking to hold that one up. It squirts away, but finds Siad Haji.
You have to think less than 10 minutes to go in this first half. Someone has to break through with all of these shots on goal and all these opportunities that have been created so far for both sides. Something's got to give.
Here's Lindo Mafeka. Decides to play it out to Haji.
Looking for Mazaev Ski again, just a little too high.
El Paso able to get it out. Look at the counter here. Left foot that time from Salgado, way too much as he blasts it back into the stands.
Look at the power that Salgado has, though. Coming down the pitch, he's got 2 guys on him, launches it outside of the box. I mean, if he can control that, that is a very lethal shot. Especially for a guy that size.
Salgado has had experience with both the Mexican and the United States national teams at the under 20 level. MLS time with Vancouver as well as New York City. And you can see why he's had MLS time and time in those youth programs when you just look at him.
He also leads the team in shots, and it's shots like that that, make you realize why. I mean, he's so powerful, and he's a lot bigger than a lot of these defenders that he goes up against. And, some impressive work from him in the front so far. He's been very disruptive.
Nothing for Reno that time.
Gave it away. You and I have seen a lot of these Reno 1868 teams throughout the years. Would you say that this is the deepest roster that Ian Russell is working with and the healthiest that he's had, especially this late in the season?
Well, I think had been a little bit more health concerns lately, but I do think it has been a very deep team. Maybe deeper earlier this year when you were seeing more from Carroll and
You still had Brian Brown on the roster.
but still a lot of weapons as Lindo just outside the box with his left foot almost connected.
Too high for Lindo.
But I think it's been a very competitive group and gives Ian Russell a lot of options right now on who he can play and when, and a lot of weapons off the bench. Guys like Sam Polito, Raul Mendiola, Seth Kisipley.
All of those guys that have had key roles throughout this season, whether it be late goals, late assists, things that have propelled Reno to get 3 points instead of 1 or 0.
With Julian here upstairs tonight, we've got Shannon Kelly down on the sidelines, and she'll chat with head coach Ian Russell just after the first half.
Pulling her out of the bullpen. She's pretty famous for halftime interviews, you know?
Brian Slusser, not only commentator on these games, but he's the interim head coach of both the men's and women's program at TMCC, one of the local community colleges here in the area that actually is in its first season of existence, the Lizards, with the new program, and Slusser has been at the helm since just before the season.
Kind of expect them to potentially be a pipeline for this soccer club, especially getting some local action.
Salgado centers it, and Reno is able to get rid of it as Partita clears. Another chance here, and that one just wasted by El Paso. Fans, you can continue to enjoy the USL on ESPN through the 2022 season. USL is excited to announce the championship and League One will remain with the leader in sports for 3 more years. ESPN Plus will continue to be the home of all things USL, and at least 19 games a year will be featured on the ESPN family of networks, including 9 games on ESPN Deportes. Continue to follow, support, and watch your club on ESPN and ESPN Plus. Less than 4 minutes to play here in regulation. See if somebody can break the ice before halftime.
That would be pretty big for, I think, either side.
When these two teams met earlier this year in El Paso in April, it was a scoreless first half. Eventually, El Paso coming out on the winning side of things with a goal in the second half on a penalty kick.
You think we see Logan Ketterer out here?
Cleared away. Calvillo. Wow. A lot of opportunities there.
That got through a lot of bodies. I mean, that was a very interesting bounce off the ball. There were just not enough blue jerseys there to put it away.
We were talking before how Reno doesn't score very often on their corner kicks. That was a great opportunity on a ball in from Eric Calvillo.
And that would be my luck too, you know, calling out the corner kicks and then they score on the next corner kick. I think both of these teams are content going into the locker room at halftime with a 0-0 score. Really slowing things up here.
Reno trying to steal it away the midfield. El Paso holds on to it.
Finally pressing again.
Here's Gomez. Velasquez. Lacroix slides in there. Finds Gomez, though.
Not out of the woods yet.
Mafeka clears it. Becky sends it back up to the offense, and a wasted chance there as it easily ends up into the hands of JT Marcinkowski. Possession still favoring Reno right now. They've got it a little bit more than 61% in this match now. Just 1 minute of stoppage time added here in this first half. See if Reno can do something here. Some space for Brent Richards. He's got Haji right in front of him. Well defended, though, by Diaz.
Reno's still attacking, though. And they've earned a throw-in.
Get it right into Haji. Mafeka fighting for it.
And just giving it away.
And that might be the last opportunity of the first half. And that's the whistle for the end of the first half, and we are scoreless. 0-0 here in downtown Reno in a fast-paced, high-flying first half between Reno and El Paso. Got to kind of take a step back and catch the breath after really a very kind of pacey first half there, Julian.
You know, you said it earlier on in this broadcast. This really feels like a playoff matchup. Both teams showing their aggressiveness on the offensive side of the ball. Just nothing's fallen in quite yet for either squad, and you know, I'm curious to see what type of substitutions both coaches make in the second half. But Reno and El Paso, you know, just both obviously need points from this match going into the final stretch of the season and, you know, start these playoffs.
All right, Shannon Kelly is down on the sideline. She has head coach Ian Russell get his thoughts on the first half.
Coach Russell, how do you guys put this momentum going into the second half to try and get past El Paso?
It's been a pretty even game. I think we maybe outshot them by a little bit, but it's two good teams playing. 0-0 draw at halftime. We're starting to get a little bit more control of the game, so we got to keep on going wide, create 2v1s out wide, and get our crosses in.
What would it mean to be able to get 3 points tonight and defend the home pitch?
Yeah, I mean, we want it. We want to do it for our fans. We're good here, so it's important.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thanks.
Back to you guys.
All right, thank you very much, Shannon, down on the sidelines. That's the end of the first half here from Greater Nevada Field. We'll take a quick break, come back with some halftime thoughts, take a look at some standings, and maybe try and figure out a little bit this playoff puzzle.
Yeah, a
lot of pieces in that puzzle. That and much more coming up here on Nevada Sports Net after a quick break.
Long-range effort. Oh, that's spectacular. From distance, and it's a goal. That's a great save, Van Oekel. That's it for Athletic.
Hamilton back out wide. Chance to put this in the penalty area. Chance, a goal! Devin Sandoval brings them to their feet in Albuquerque. A minute to play. Dia puts it in. Desperately headed away. Shot comes in. It's 2-2. Oh, can you believe it? From 2-0 down, Phoenix are level.
Making the run, Mo Hernandez, edge of the box. Hernandez, great move, gets free. Hernandez gives AFC the lead.
I told you the big man was feeling it tonight.
Goes right, gets the shot away, score! Nowhere to go for Morendi. Back in the middle looking for Cox, trying to set up a shot, and it finds the corner! We're level at 2! And all of a sudden, game on here in Tucson! Puts this in the middle, looking for Ramos. Bingo! It's off the hands of Hara and in! The opening goal for Toronto FC 2.
Marape lofts it. Boateng on the run. Boateng back of the net. Charles Boateng is first in league play.
To send it in. Headed away, couldn't get by the first man. Bermudez might come away with it, and he does! And there's nobody in goal! Greenville are going to score, and they're going to the playoffs! Greenville and Chris Bermudez!
Welcome back inside Greater Nevada Field here at halftime in a scoreless match between Reno and El Paso. Alongside Julian Delgadio, I'm Alex Margulies. Well, we've been talking about it's kind of a complicated playoff picture right now, Julian. One thing we do know, Reno is in. They have clinched a spot, and they're very near clinching a top 4 spot, which would get them a first-round playoff match on October 26th. If Reno can win tonight and can get a little bit of help from the OKC Energy, who are playing Orange County, if OKC can take down Orange County tonight and Reno wins here against El Paso, then that would be a clinch. So we'll be keeping an eye on that one. That match will kick off at 7 o'clock. Some other ones to pay attention to, really up and down, is Las Vegas and San Antonio. They'll play at 7:30. San Antonio right now is just below the cut line of the top 10 teams that would make the postseason right now at 41 points. Las Vegas still very much in the mix as well. They've got 38 points. They start the night in a tie for 13th place. It is worth noting for Las Vegas as they try and get in, Reno is going to be a team that tries and gets in their way, as these two will match up next week at Cashman Fields in Las Vegas. Reno had some success against them earlier this year with a 4-0 win. And then if you think things have been bunched up, Julian, in the Western Conference, well, scroll up to the top and look at the Eastern Conference, because the top 5 teams in the Eastern Conference are all separated by 5 points, with Pittsburgh at the top, but a lot of parity. And we were talking about this earlier. This is what makes this league so much fun, is your 3 games left in the season, and there are so many teams that can still get into the postseason. Just about everybody's got something to play for, and a lot of seeding implications in every single one of these matches.
It's incredible. You know, you look at that 4th spot, which is where Sac Republic is right now in the USL Western Conference, 48 points overall, but that 5, 6, 7, and 8 spot, they could potentially move up. I mean, 3 points here, 3 points there. I mean, there's 3 matches left with some big losses. You know, a lot of things can really play out. And like you said, man, this is amazing. You know, you're in a league where out of 10 potential teams, 8 of which could have a shift from 4th to 7th to 10th, you know, depending on how well they finish out their season or how poorly they finish out their season. But if you're Reno 1868 right now, you have to be pretty impressed with, you know, where you're standing at, and a win tonight, you know, all but locks up a home playoff spot for them.
Look at the Western Conference standings prior to the matches that kicked off tonight. As I mentioned, right now, San Antonio is actually in 11th place, so this isn't quite fully accurate, but you see, especially in the middle here, I mean, look at that. All those teams fighting, a lot of teams still possible for that 4th spot, including this El Paso team. So just about every single match tonight, very important up and down the league. Couple matches already in the books, and including Sacramento, and that was a big one for them. Sacramento able to get a 3-2 win over Tulsa. So Sacramento right now able to jolt up into that 4th position now with 48 points.
Yeah, that's just so crazy to me, though. The discrepancy between 4th and 9th, and, you know, the 3 points versus a tie and getting 1 point. And, you know, even to what El Paso did, topping Fresno earlier this week and holding them to that 56-point mark right now, with Reno potentially having, you know, a second half of soccer to play and put up 3 more points and tie them for 2nd place in the USL West. I mean, anything can happen, and, you know, teams get hot at the right time at this stage of the season. It's going to be pretty fun to watch.
All right, we'll have more from Greater Nevada Field after another break. We'll take a look at the first half highlights and kick this one off. A tied 0-0 score between Reno and El Paso in downtown Reno. Almost getting set for second half action as the teams come out of the locker rooms and we get ready and see if someone wants to try and get a goal here tonight. And there were certainly a lot of opportunities, Julian, in that first half. Let's take a look at the highlights. And right out of the gates, El Paso, within the first seconds of this match, getting one in front of JT Marcinkowski, and he was terrific in the first half.
I tell you what, Omar Salgado was MVP of the first half of this match. I mean, he is just a huge body, had a couple shots on target, and he was very impressive, just, you know, filling in that forward spot. Should be interesting, though. Do we see Jerome Kisvetter in the second half?
I think that's a big question mark. I think you'd have to think in some fashion. He's the top goal scorer, and it's not even close on this team. He's got 12 on the year. The fact that they have played so well and had so many offensive chances without him starting, I think says a lot. and he'll be a big jolt of energy into this second half, and we'll see if he is a difference maker. But so far, the two keepers, Ketterer, who has recorded 11 clean sheets on the year, and JT Marcinkowski, who's got 3. Both of them have been tested often and have been up to the challenge and have been a big reason why it is still 0-0. We'll see who is the first to give, or is this a battle that will finish in a draw? Something neither of these teams have done a lot of this year. You look at both clubs, Reno on the year has only drawn 5 times, and for El Paso, a club that has only drawn 9 times.
I tell you what, I think if El Paso leaves here with just a draw, I think that they would be content with at least getting some points on the board in the USL standings. But, like we were talking about earlier in the first half, this feels like a playoff match, and I think, either one of these sides want to break through and get away with 3 points. First half, though, 23 shots overall from both sides. El Paso with 15. I mean, a lot of chances created, a lot of shots close to goal. Nothing breaking the ice, though.
Lindo Mafeka stands over the ball as he will put it into play. There's the whistle, and we are underway in the second 45 minutes as Reno will resume their offense and move that attack going towards the Battle-Born Brigade. Mafeka trying to get it in there, and it's cleared out by El Paso, then last touched by Corey Herzog, and so a throw-in now for El Paso. Reno coming in winners of 3 of their last 5. El Paso 4 of 5. So two teams overall been playing well here in the latter half of the season. I think both teams feel confident about where they're sitting in terms of the playoffs. Reno, of course, is in. I think if you're El Paso, they have to feel like they've done enough to get into the postseason right now with 45 points. But as I said, you get 3 here, and that really could cement them into the postseason.
I mean, not just that. You get 3 points against Fresno on Wednesday, 3 points against Reno. There's the 2 and 3 team in the USL West right there. If I was any other team, I would not want to play El Paso right now, but they have been very impressive so far down the stretch. I'm curious to see how they start this second half. When this game opened, they were very aggressive, had a couple shots near the goal in the first 10 minutes, and then they kind of settled down, settled in a little bit, and Reno kind of woke back up, but curious to see what this next 45 looks like.
Lindo Mafeka over there at Calvillo.
If you're Reno at this point, you lose to Real Monarchs in a late goal like that, potentially lose to El Paso. I mean, is it time to panic? I mean, we saw them about a month ago have that little 4-game skid, but back to business, got back on that winning train and kind of solidified at least getting a home playoff match, barring a win or a couple losses tonight.
Definitely don't think it's anything to panic about. I mean, it's a team right now that is in the postseason, and again, by the end of the night, could be a top 4 team hosting a playoff match. Certainly want to be playing your best soccer at the end of the season. But I think it's kind of tough to kind of have those dog days of the season, as you could say, like in baseball, where season's long. It's hard to be good for the entire stretch. I think Reno knows, and I think they're confident. You talk to Ian Russell, he's still confident. We had him on NSN Daily a couple weeks ago, and he still thinks that they can win this entire conference and get to a USL championship game, and they feel like they've got enough on any given night to beat any team in the West. And I think when you look at the way they've played overall, I think you have to think that they could give themselves a chance against just about anybody.
Absolutely. I agree with that. It's just going to be an interesting to see, how well they could play against this El Paso team. And then you look at Phoenix Rising and what they've done in the USL West this season, and, all of an 18, 19-game winning streak that they went on, finally falling to Fresno a couple of weeks ago. I mean, that's really the 3-headed monster, I think, coming out of the West.
Broken up that time by Janjigi, and Reno doing a great job possessing here to start this second half, something they excelled at in that first half.
Janjigi, another guy who's been around since the inaugural season, spent some time with San Jose, finding his way back up to Northern Nevada. Nice to see him develop over the last couple of years.
Making his 40th career start in the USL tonight. Calvillo and Lacroix trying to put something together, but Diaz able to get back. Reno's still sitting about 61% when it comes to that possession. El Paso not nearly as aggressive as we saw from them out of the gates in that first half, as you said a few moments ago. Still kind of finding their footing here in this second half, playing much more on the defensive side of things, sitting back a little bit more, and that's kind of how we thought they might start this match, but as the game's gone on, they've kind of more been on that side of things.
Yeah, I was expecting to see El Paso play more counter. I think Reno's a very aggressive team overall. They like to put up points early. They like to press forward a lot in their formation, and they weren't doing that at first. And now it appears that they're just trying to get the ball. But, Reno just wants to establish a little bit more dominance, I think, in the scoring half for them.
See what El Paso can do with this. Gomez winds up. Easy for Marcinkowski, who plays it off a hop.
I think Gomez could have taken that a couple steps further, maybe get a little bit closer to the box and then let that loose, but here we are deadlocked.
.52nd minute here at Greater Nevada Fields. Here comes a run from El Paso. Trying to get it in there to Velasquez, and just out of his reach as Marcinkowski is able to pounce on it. Brent Richards leads the charge on the right side. Finds Haji, gets it into Mazaev Ski, and couldn't keep it in front of him.
It's the guy you want to get it to in the box, though. Just a little too much.
A lot of space right now for El Paso on the offensive side of things as Janjigi is able to cut off Gomez this time. Not sure Reno wants to let them have that space to run in the middle of the field. That can spell trouble.
We heard a lot about Salgado in the first half. Gomez, though, is a big scorer on this team, second on El Paso for goals scored so far this season. And, he's starting to warm up here in the second half. Something's got to give at some point.
Here's Drew Becky coming up from his center back spot. Trying to slot one in there for Salgado, but it goes right to Janjigian. Here's Kevin Partita. Trying to go through the teeth of the defense. Partita. Into Mazaev Ski. Calvillo. Blasts it off of the hands of Ketterer.
I love the pacing of that. Mazaev Ski did not panic. He knew exactly where he wanted to give that ball. Great block.
More outstanding goalkeeping from Ketterer. Working on his 12th clean sheet of the year. He's tied for third in the USL. That was a hard collision as Richards is taken out, and a yellow card is coming out of the pocket of Malik Badawi. Take another look here as a hard slide in that time from Alexi Bosetti.
Love Coach Russell's reaction to that one immediately. I want to go back to that scoring opportunity, though. Kevin Partita showing his speed down the stretch. I mean, this is a guy who spent some time with San Jose, and he's been injured, but looks like he's getting back to his old self.
Really burst onto the scene last year with Reno, Partita, and earned himself a contract with San Jose. Got to go up with the Quakes, but that was derailed with an ACL injury. Tonight, appearing in his 10th match with Reno. Neither team has gone to a substitution until now, as Raul Mendiola checks in for Siad Haji.
And Mendiola is one of those other dangerous forwards that Reno has in their back pocket. Spent some time in Las Vegas last year, midfielder, excuse me. But, this is a guy who's pretty shifty. He's small, but he's elusive. And I think that's pretty big at this point in the game. Some fresh legs, and maybe they can crack through with Mendiola.
Lindo Mafeka gets it out to Duke Lacroix. Lacroix still fighting and earns a corner. Nice job there by Duke Lacroix as he was able to knock that one off of Guillermo Diaz. Here's Calvillo, who had a great corner opportunity in the first half. Reno couldn't capitalize. Serves that one, headed and defended well by El Paso, as Reno almost gets through here in the 56th minute. What a job there to get back on defense is Guillermo Diaz.
And here's Mendiola trying to set that up again, but two quality chances over the last 5 minutes for Reno. 1868, that substitution pretty big by putting Mendiola back in there, but no dice.
Reno continuing to press high up the field. Good move that time by Velasquez. He's got some help. Just outside the box, and Marcinkowski able to ricochet that one away.
And he earned himself a corner right there.
JT Marcinkowski is having one of his best performances of the season tonight.
It was a great strike, but I just feel like the team could potentially push a little bit further or a little bit closer to the box and give themselves an even better chance to score.
Here's Nick Ross. Headed. Marcinkowski's all over it.
This is a title fight. Not a playoff match, but, this is just impressive. Back and forth. Balls flying everywhere. What a great stop by JT Marcinkowski.
A highlight reel kind of night for JT, as he keeps it 0-0 here in the 58th minute.
.25 total shots in the game. It's like they're playing FIFA out there.
Very offensive-minded game. Neither team, though, has anything to show for it. See what Danny Mazovsky can do. Back to Lindo. Mendiola has his pocket picked. They'll get it out to Velasquez, who's being swarmed, and he'll keep possession for El Paso.
A lot of white jerseys around Mendiola on that one. Had an opportunity. Looks like El Paso's going to get the ball, though.
That match underway between OKC and Orange County. Again, Reno needs a win from OKC and a win tonight in order to clinch a first-round playoff match today. We would love to have that wrapped up here this evening on their final home match of the season.
Can't believe we already made it to the final home match of the regular season for this soccer team. 3 years in now in the biggest little city, and boy, time just flies.
kind of crazy. The season feels like forever, and it feels like it's gone by so quickly all at the same time. Here's Duke Lacroix trying to get that corner. Gets to the edge.
Nice move.
Lacroix able to center it. Nobody there to connect on it, though. Another disruptive run that time, though, by Duke Lacroix as he was able to get around that back line.
Yeah, Danny Mazaev Ski. I mean, first, this move by Duke Lacroix was just beyond impressive, and then Mazaev Ski hits his head. He just wasn't in the right position. The ball just things didn't add up. Back on the attack, though, quickly.
Herzog gets twisted up. James Kiffey takes it out for El Paso. Over to Diaz. Now Sebastian Velasquez. Gets away from Kevin Partita. Good organization here from El Paso.
A lot of hands in that.
Some space now for Bosetti. Fires it. Just past the outstretched arms of JT Marcinkowski. Not a bad try, though, there that time by Alexei Bosetti. Trying to find that upper left corner.
Yeah, Bosetti trying to get his 5th goal this season just outside.
Will be a corner kick, though, for El Paso. And again, it'll be Nick Ross. He's got 1 assist on the year. Marcinkowski able to wrestle that one away from Andrew Fox, who is getting very close to that one.
Marcinkowski's been fantastic in this match.
Here comes Danny Mazovsky. A lot of white shirts to get through.
Not a lot of help.
I think Reno being a little cautious right now, not sending too many players forward. Both teams, I think, have backed off just a little bit when it comes to the aggressiveness on the offensive end in this second half.
Yeah, I mean, 60 minutes in, we've seen more than 25 shots already. You have to expect the defense getting a little tired out there on both ends. Especially elevation potentially playing a factor for El Paso.
.63 minute. And it looks like a little issue there for Lindo. He's reaching down at his left foot. See Lindo kind of hobbling a little bit at the top of the screen.
He's been so steady for this roster, too. Oh, this is...
Calvillo earns Reno a corner kick. He was trying to center it for Herzog or Mazovsky, as he was able to find some space there in the box. Good idea there.
And that all started with Raul Mendiola and that little through pass to Herzog. Really taking their time on this one. Guess Lindo's all right from his ankle.
Luis Herrera checks in for Alexi Bosetti. So a couple substitutions now for El Paso in this second half. Still have not seen Jerome Kiesewetter. Mafeka. Partita races in there. Keeps it for Reno.
Oh, a little too much on that one.
Great effort, though, by Kevin Partita. Going all out to save that one for 1868. Janjigian is able to break up Salgado. And that was a big defensive play by him, getting back in front of that one, as Salgado nearly had an opportunity for a one-on-one in front of JT Marcinkowski. Mazaev Ski. Good opportunity there, but too much. Chance here for El Paso as Velasquez makes a move down the middle of the field. Ross comes up. Back into Velasquez. Danger. Knocked away by Marcinkowski as Gomez put another shot on goal.
And he is just a dangerous scorer, second on the team, and he's had a couple opportunities in the second half of this one. But JT Marcinkowski, once again, playing very good soccer.
A mistake-free night so far for JT.
Looking for his 9th clean sheet, potentially.
8 in his career. He had 5 last year, 3 here in his sophomore season.
I want to go back to that substitution that El Paso had. Luis Herrera, actually a local kid who was signed back in January. He's from El Paso. And love seeing those types of stories, you know, growing up in the area and getting picked up by a team that you know, close to home. Have family come out.
Well, it'll be cool to see as the USL continues to grow, is seeing more and more people now, like in Reno, you know, kids that are teenagers now that are coming to watch Reno 1868, and some guys that may eventually suit up for this franchise as the years go on. And we've already seen one of those stories here with Kevin Partita from Sparks. Actually took Sparks High School to the state championship in 2012.
Went to UNLV. And you talked about this earlier too, you know, the community college, TMCC, starting with the soccer team.
Richards into Mazaev. That's been the bread and butter here in the last couple of weeks, and just wide this time as Danny almost connected on the header.
He is so dangerous on the header, and it's just a couple inches to the right of that goalpost. Reno's knocking, though.
Here's Salgado. Salgado wants that one back. Couldn't control his shot after getting some open space there in the box.
They're taking a lot of shots outside of the box. I don't think you see that too often with teams.
Final playoff sponsor at stake, October 9th. Wednesday Night Soccer returns to ESPN News. Tune in at 5 o'clock. Birmingham fights for the last spot in the East, while upset-minded Hartford looks to crush those hopes in front of the hometown faithful. Catch all the drama unfold Wednesday, October 9th at 5 o'clock on ESPN News. 69th minute here in downtown Reno. 0-0. in the second match between these two Western Conference foes this year. El Paso with a second half goal on a penalty kick back in April. Took the first match this year. Both teams still trying to find that first goal here into this second half. And what overall has been a very tense and exciting match between these two.
Playoff-like.
No doubt. Reno gives it away at midfield. Chance here for El Paso. Velasquez gets through the defense. Dumps it off, back to Velasquez, and Reno closes very well that time as Partita walls him off and forces it out of play, and that was a very good defensive play by Kevin Partita.
And a great pass inside the box. I think he just ran out of real estate at the end of that, but really impressive stuff from El Paso right there.
Check on that score between OC and OKC. And that match is still 0-0, 24th minute. Some other Western Conference scores. Phoenix and Portland are tied at 1. That one in the 25th. Portland just able to even it up against the Rising. New Mexico and RGV are tied at 1 apiece at halftime.
Gave it away. Had a lot of bodies pressed forward. Now let's see how El Paso does on the counter.
Here's Salgado again. Reno is able to get back on defense. Here's Yuma. Velasquez again. Directing traffic.
I'm going to try to cross it. Off the head of Brent Richards.
Velasquez takes a shot and just wide. Sebastian Velasquez, the Colombian midfielder, almost gets El Paso on the board.
Just a little to the right. Excellent strike right there. 4 jerseys around him. Still gets that ball through. Water's boiling.
El Paso takes it away again in the midfield. Reno tries to win it back, but a whistle goes against Reno 1868 as Salgado is helped up to his feet. Substitution coming now for Reno as Lindo Mafeka will head off and see his night finish up, as will Kevin Partita. In comes Gilbert Fuentes. Well, actually, it looks like Mafeka for now stays in. So Lindo thought he was going out. He's going to stick it around. So Reno's made a couple of substitutions now with both Fuentes, the teenager, the 17-year-old, appearing now in his 9th game this season. One of the young stars in the United States who made his MLS debut last year as a 16-year-old.
Yeah, the second youngest player to do that. It's amazing how young he is and the level of play that he's at so far, and that's why he's here in the USL. You know, develop a little bit more, spend a couple of years here, and then I'm sure we'll be hearing his name in the MLS in no time.
Select, the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been a leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit SelectSportAmerica.com. Alongside Julian Delgadio, who fills in tonight for Brian Slusser, I'm Alex Margulies. About 17 minutes left here in regulation in a 0-0 game between Reno and El Paso. Both fighting for important points here in the third to last match of the season for Reno 1868.
The idea was there for Herzog. It just got cleared out.
El Paso will play 3 more after tonight, 2 of which will take place at home at Southwest University Park in El Paso.
What a beautiful stadium that is.
Incredible.
We had a chance to go there a couple weeks ago.
Salgado
Too much.
trying to connect with Gomez. Those two have paired nicely tonight. They've been pesky. But so far, Reno's defense able to hold up and put together a clean sheet. Had a chance to visit El Paso a couple weeks ago. University of Nevada playing UTEP. You're right, we were right across the street from that park. I've been there for a baseball game. Have yet to see soccer, but one of the nicest stadiums in the country.
Yeah. Definitely in the USL.
Wow. Richards into the box. Some contact as Herzog falls down.
I think that earns them a corner, though. It's off El Paso.
El Paso seemed to be frustrated by that, but it is a corner kick now for Reno as Gilbert Fuentes will handle that for the first time tonight.
I used to rock the Gilbert Fuentes hair back in high school. Messy.
Not a good look. On Fuentes, yes. You, no.
No, not good. But I was
Calvillo.
young.
Last touch this time by El Paso, another corner.
Make a lot of questionable decisions when you're young, you know?
This time they'll let Calvillo take it.
And here's Mendiola.
Raul. El Paso once again turns Reno away.
Plenty of guys inside the box for that one, just not the right angle.
Yuma is slow to get up. One of those one name kind of guys. If you were a soccer player, would you just go by Julian? Take the Delgado out, just keep it simple?
I feel like I should initial it, you know, like a JDG, you know?
Think they'd allow that?
Probably not. Yuma, though. It's like Seal.
I think I would just go as Margulies.
Oh. You got to add some emphasis, though, like Margulies.
Margulies.
Margulies. Yuma, though, from Spain.
From Madrid, nation's capital. Beautiful city. More contacts. Reno possession now here in the 77th minute. Reno has not played to a draw. You look back, it has not happened since May the 18th against Tacoma. In a very, very long time for Reno 1868. Again, they've only had 5 draws the entire year. And now finally we see the top striker for El Paso check in. There he is, Jerome Kiesewetter, the German. And with his 12 goals, he will check in and be a big threat here down to the final stretch as Josue Aaron Gomez will come off. Keep an eye out for big number 17. You talked about it earlier, Julian. He had the game winner against Fresno in stoppage time on Wednesday.
Yeah, he is their most dangerous player. Guy, I'm actually really excited to see what he can do on the pitch. He's been very stable for them, and you know, he's trying to make a name for himself in the USL to potentially get some time back up in the MLS. I want to go back to something you were saying. The last time Reno was actually held scoreless was against El Paso back in April.
That's crazy to think.
So through all the wins and draws and ties, they've at least put something on the board. I stand corrected, Phoenix Rising, back in June.
But even still, just twice the entire season.
This is a team, you know, a lot of Northern Nevadans and fans expect to see points being put up on the board. Rare to see them being held scoreless.
Still a lot of time for something to happen.
El Paso in good company with Phoenix Rising, though.
Here's Kiesewetter trying to play it wide, and too much on that pass. Fans, the USL unveiled its elite youth platform, USL Academy. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its local youth and compete at the highest levels across the United States, including the USL Academy Cup. For more information, visit uslsoccer.com/academy. 80th minute, 0-0 between two teams that possibly could meet in the postseason in just a couple of weeks.
It's been a great soccer match.
Here's Duke Lacroix.
You know, we are in October, and I'm a big fan of October baseball. I have to say, a 0-0 game, 80th minute, this late in the soccer season, kind of equates to that.
Things starting to tighten up a little bit this time of year. Here's Danny Mazaev Ski. Gets himself some space. No one center there, and cleared away by El Paso.
It's incredible how quickly El Paso just loads the box. They've had about 7 to 8 guys in there anytime Reno gets in striking distance. And maybe that's the formula to keeping Reno off the board.
Here's Kiesewetter. Now to Velasquez. Trying to get through the Reno defense. Salgado. Kiesewetter was there. Salgado's pass wasn't quite there, though.
The idea was there. A lot of blue bodies around, but they were moving the ball well.
El Paso races back to get in position on defense.
Mm-hmm. They're not pressing forward a lot right now. It seems like they're okay with this ending at a 0-0 score. I mean, look how many guys rush to the box anytime Reno gets in striking distance of it. Got 6 guys right there. 8 the last time Reno had a shot.
I think you're right. I mean, on their offensive chances, being a little cautious, not trying to send too many bodies forward, and if they do, making sure they're getting back very, very quickly. Kiesewetter able to get him away. Or excuse me, that was Salgado.
But Kiesewetter is such a good scorer. I mean, you send him forward with 2 midfielders or another striker. That's all El Paso really needs at this point.
Chance here for El Paso. Salgado trying to time it up with Kiesewetter. Cleared out by Richards. Mendiola clears that one. El Paso loads up again. Look at the effort there for Reno to keep possession.
Mazaev Ski still down, though.
Here comes Duke Lacroix. Nice try there from Duke, and a great job on defense by Drew Becky, getting back to clear that one in a one-on-one defensive situation.
Great counter by Lacroix there. Shows a little bit of his breakaway speed, just didn't have enough in the tank to fully separate there, but
not a lot of guys can keep pace with Duke Lacroix, too, which makes Becky's job there getting back on defense that much more impressive to be able to close that.
But he still earns this throw-in right here, which allows Reno to press themselves forward, and, you know, that's what they want. They want their guys in positions to score. Maybe chew a little bit of clock, too.
Seth Kasipli will check in for Lindo Mafeka for the final part of this match. For Kasipli, his 85th appearance in a Reno 1868 uniform. Second only to Brent Richards. All time. One of the mainstays here, and the mustache is back for the postseason run.
Big mustache guy. Got to bring mine back for No Shave November. But Kasipli, though, you know, he's 5th in the USL with chances created, and I think that's what Coach Russell's trying to do right now. You know, get him in there, get some fresh legs, and try to create a couple more chances to maybe break the ice and finally get that goal.
Stolen away. Was a yellow card there, by the way, to Guillermo Diaz. Janjigian steps up.
Getting a little overzealous on that pass.
Able to find Mendiola. Calvillo is trying to get it over to Kasipli, and it went too much. Want to remind you the final playoff spots are at stake October 9th when Wednesday Night Soccer returns to ESPN News. Tune in at 5 o'clock as Birmingham fights for the last spot in the East, while upset-minded Hartford looks to crush those hopes in front of their home faithful. Catch it all unfold Wednesday, October 9th at 5 o'clock on ESPN News. A lot of big matches on tap here in the final couple of weeks.
You go back to that match in June, that was the last time Reno was held scoreless at home. And that was the only match that they were held scoreless at home this year. Not easy to do.
'87th minute. Logan Ketterer. Here's Velasquez. He's been a catalyst oftentimes tonight to start that El Paso offense. Good takeaway there by Richards and then Mendiola.
I believe that would be stealing his cookies.
Here's Mendiola. Tried to get it in there for Fuentes and couldn't quite time it up as Yuma clears it back out to midfield. Reno's got to hustle back on defense. Here comes Salgado. Salgado trying to get himself another opportunity, and he just runs out of gas. You can see he is spent.
Lindo got beaten on that one. He's lucky to have a couple more.
He's slow to get up
bodies.
still. Here's Herzog. Seth Kasipli just checked in. He's got fresh legs.
And boy, can he create some chances.
Look at all that space for Kasipli.
Oh.
And they baited him off sides. Reno was trying. You could see Kasipli right there with Lacroix. They were trying to avoid going off sides.
So much space, but you see what they were going for right there. A little dash into Danny Mazaev Ski, the hot hand that they've had the last month or so. Fresh legs of Seth Kasipli. Just got to stay on sides.
Logan Ketterer trying to get his 12th clean sheet in what would be the 13th clean sheet this year for El Paso. That's been their calling card, as their defense. A unit that has only allowed 37 goals this year, now into their 32nd match. A little over 1 goal per match, and a yellow card now coming out against Reno.
There was no hesitation on that yellow card either. I'm curious to see what the replay shows. Oh, it was that right foot. I don't think the ref liked the right foot coming in there after the slide.
So a set piece opportunity here now for Yuma in the 90th minute.
And this is where El Paso has really thrived the past couple of games. Those late walk-off goals, and on the other end of the coin, Reno suffered a couple losses this year, late in games.
Reno trying to
defense,
trying to jumpstart the counterattack. Mazaev Ski knifing his way through the defense, and a whistle goes against El Paso.
Here we go, exchanging blows left and right like we've been seeing all game long. El Paso just had an opportunity with the set piece, and here's Reno.
Here's Duke Lacroix. Back to Kisipli. Look how tightly packed in that El Paso defense is. Now it is stoppage time. Into Mazaev Ski. 3 minutes added. And we'll see if somebody can break the ice and come away with 3 points.
And here's Kisipli again trying to create that chance. But look at that, El Paso, 6 guys in the box. May have added another 2 after that pass, just loading it up. And Reno can't do much.
Once again, it's Mendiola trying to find Mazaev Ski. And El Paso able to break that one up.
Had 3 guys surrounding Mazaev Ski. I'm impressed that it even got to his foot.
Another chance for Reno. This time it's Richards. Richards looking for either Mazaev Ski or Herzog. Ketterer, though, able to get the loose ball. About halfway through our stoppage time. Here's Mazaev Ski. And what a job there defensively by El Paso once again. This time it was Andrew Fox who was able to make the stop.
What a great pass from Herzog. Mazaev Ski just did not have enough space. And how quickly they moved down the pitch.
One more substitution here in the final minute. Sebastian Contreras coming in for Sebastian Velasquez. We'll try and make an impact here in the final seconds. As time is chewed off the clock by Logan Ketterer.
We're talking Kisipli and chances created. Contreras leads the team in chances created this season. That's all they're trying to do.
We'll see if they go to him here in what should be the final possession of this match. Janjigian wins the header, and now it's a throw in for Reno. Perhaps Reno gets the final say here. Finds Mendiola. Mazaev Ski. And that might just do it.
I gotta feel like he's rushing it, although he is playing against the clock right now. Just need a little bit more time.
Play continues for now. Here's Salgado. Salgado again. defended by Reno. And there is the final whistle as this battle between Reno and El Paso will end in a 0-0 draw. You know, 0-0 draws aren't always the most exciting matches, and you always, as a fan or as a player, you want to see goals scored and something come across. But I tell you what, you have to give a lot of respect to the way these two teams battled it out tonight, and some incredible defense by both sides to prevent a goal from being scored, and some really strong goalkeeping from Logan Ketterer, who picks up his 12th clean sheet, and as well for JT Marcinkowski, who gets his 4th and 9th of his career. And JT Marcinkowski, I think, played one of his best matches of the season.
Easily. He's made some big stops in this one. 27 total shots in this match. I know the score doesn't show, you know, anything on it with this 0-0 draw, but this was a very tense game between two soccer teams that are really vying for playoff positioning and seeding right now. And, you know, big performances by the goalkeepers. I'm sure that's something the coaches like to see, but 0-0, I would have loved to see another half an hour of these two teams going at it.
Both teams will have to be happy to pick up 1 point. Reno now at 54 points. El Paso improves to 46 points as they will move into a tie for 5th place, a 4-way tie with the Monarchs, the Bold, Orange County, as the playoff picture continues to be very, very cluttered here with a couple matches to go for both of these sides.
And that's really what we're talking about. I mean, the teams between position 4 through 9, I mean, you know, 3 points would have been huge. 1 point is huge, to say the least. And I think both teams are happy to at least escape this match with something to put on the board.
All right, let's go down to Shannon Kelly. She's got JT Marcinkowski after that 0-0 draw.
Yeah, JT, not the result that you guys wanted tonight. Still able to pick up a point, though. What do you think was working so well for you in your defense?
Yeah, I think it's communication. Just obviously late in the season, you kind of know the guys around you, so you play really well together. It starts from the guys up top pressing. They pressed really well tonight. Just unfortunately, we couldn't get away with a win.
How do you guys bring this momentum, though, going into Las Vegas next week?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's like a derby match, and you always kind of, it's easy to get up for those ones, especially away, kind of hostile crowd, but take the good, look at the bad, and improve on it, and then hopefully have a good result.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Back to you guys.
All right, Shannon Kelly, thanks so much for being on the broadcast tonight, filling in for Julian, who made his color commentating debut up here in the booth.
How did I do? Did I pass?
I think you did
What
all
do you
right.
think?
Did all right.
This was pretty awesome.
Was it better than your play-by-play debut last year?
Yeah, I was less nervous, I would say. I think I knew the pace of play, but really a great match to be able to fill in on. And for Reno now going down to Las Vegas, taking on the Lights in the Silver State Cup. I know they want to keep that trophy here in the north, but I'm sure they're happy to escape with just 1 point. And JT said it best, you know, at this stage of the season, you just know the guys that you're playing with and you know what the expectation is.
Final home match of this season for Reno, as they will get set for 2 on the road in Las Vegas, in Tulsa. For El Paso, they've got 3 left. 2 home matches against Austin and Portland. A couple of teams vying for playoff spots or positioning. And then the LA Galaxy, who right now also a playoff club. So a lot of meaningful soccer still to go for El Paso as they will try and get into the postseason. Let's go now and check out our highlights from this one. And, of course, no goals scored, but that didn't mean there was not a lot of action in this one, Julian.
Yeah, no, there were opportunities left and right for both ends. Like we were saying, it felt like a title fight in a boxing match with just haymaker after haymaker, but nothing would break through. But JT Marcinkowski, a great save right there. And 0-0.
A couple times JT really stepped up in this match and rewarded a strong Reno defensive effort.
This was a great pass. All started with Mendiola, a little flick out from Herzog, and just couldn't put it together at the end there. Great opportunity for Reno, though. A lot to learn from.
Well, and I think a big silver lining for Reno, this has not been a great defensive team this year. And it is big for them to get a clean sheet towards the end of the season and for that unit to play mistake-free and to come up with some big stops, especially after the way things ended last week against the Real Monarchs. I think you come away from this one, and I think you like what you see, for me, with the way Reno's defense played, how they got back and made big plays when they had to, and then again in goal with Marcin Kauski. So a lot, I think, to build off of as they go into their final 2 matches, maybe some confidence re-injected into that Reno defense.
Yeah, I think that they definitely needed that in the back four. I want to ask you this, though. 1 point, is it bigger for El Paso or is it bigger for Reno at this stage of the season?
I'd say probably El Paso. Reno right now is in. And unless something wild happens, Reno is going to host a playoff game here in a couple weeks as one of the top 4 teams and perhaps even a top 2 team. Still a chance to get that with Fresno. El Paso right now, they're still fighting to get in. I mean, their playoff ticket is not punched, so every point matters for them. Would they have loved to get 3 here on the road? Absolutely. That's a good week for them, though, to get 3 points against Fresno and then to come here and you get a point against Reno. That's a good showing for them against the 2nd and 3rd best team of the Western Conference.
This is big for Reno as well, though, I have to say, because you look at El Paso's momentum coming into this match with a win over Fresno, the confidence that they have going forward, a goal in past the 90th minute, and to be able to just hold them scoreless, and even though it is a 1-point, gain for both sides of the team, you have to feel like Reno is pretty happy with that, especially with, so many late goals that have happened on their home pitch.
So, again, final home match of the year. As of right now, no guarantees for a home playoff match, but likelihood is very strong, and that means likelihood is very strong that we will have that coverage for you right here on Nevada Sportsnet. So keep posted, stay with the team. Check out Reno 1868 at Reno1868FC.com. You can check their social media as well as NevadaSportsnet.com and at Nevada Sportsnet, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. A lot of ways to stay informed. For those of you watching and you want to see more coverage of this game, tune in to KRNV News 4 at 11 o'clock tonight. Shannon Kelly will have your recap in sports. She'll have interviews with Ian Russell and the guys and highlights from the action of this one tonight. Before we go, I want to remind you, you can continue to enjoy the USL on ESPN through the 2022 season. USL is excited to announce the championship in League One will remain with the leader in sports for 3 more years. ESPN Plus will continue to be the home of all things USL, and at least 19 games a year will be featured on the ESPN family of networks, including 9 games on ESPN Deportes. Continue to follow, support, and watch your club on ESPN and ESPN Plus. For our entire crew, including Shannon Kelly filling in on the sidelines for my broadcast partner, Julian Delgadio, I'm Alex Margulies saying so long from downtown Reno. A 0-0 draw between Reno and El Paso here tonight at Greater Nevada Field. Thanks so much for watching here on Nevada Sportsnet. Have a great night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.